Welcome to Matt Made It. I am Matt. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video is going to be a tip on using Carve. This is a beginner's tip as I am a beginner. So if you've been using this software for a while, this is probably something you already know, but for you beginners out there, I think you'll find this helpful. I'm using Carve Pro today, but this will work the same on desktop. So let's get started. So I made this sign for the solar and pest control sales guys that like to wander through my neighborhood every now and then. And I like the way it looks, so I ran some toolpath. First, let me talk about how I want to do this. This is a one-off sign, so my idea was not to mess around with any bit changes. So when I did my toolpath for this, I just did everything with a 1/8 inch bit. All the pocketing, I know that takes a little longer than doing a 1/4 inch bit, but that's how I did it. So I did all this pocketing with a 1/8 bit, and then it drilled these holes for my mounting screws, and then cut out this big oval on the outside to actually cut out the whole sign. So a more efficient way of doing this would be to do the main pocketing operation with a 1/4 inch bit, and then switch to probably like a 1/16 inch bit, and do all the cleanup, and probably get right in here in this area right here in the K, and get in between all the little nooks and crannies and everything, and then the 16th could drill your holes and it could do your cutout, and that would be fine. But I didn't want to mess with a bit change. I wanted to just throw in the 1/8 bit and let the machine go to town and not have to do a bit change or anything. So that's what I did. So you can see these tool paths are all done with a 1/8 inch bit. This is how I name if you look over here, this is how I name my tool paths. No sol tells me that's a no soliciting. This is a pocket operation. The 16 by 17, that's the dimensions of my stock material, and then the bit used for that carve. So you can see all of them, the main pocketing, the cutout, and the holes, everything is with a 1/8 bit. So if I preview all tool paths, and I can turn all these on, you can see how the bit comes in here and then it leaves, and then it comes in the top here and then it leaves. There's not enough space in between this S and this O for the 1/8 bit to get through. And over here, between the I and the N, you can see it's able to pocket this out and then pocket out above and below, but it can't get in between this space right here, which is what I want it to do. So if we go to the 3D view, and if we turn these off, we can really see what the result of that is. You can see between the S and the O, it leaves these little peaks right here, because the bit's stopping here and stopping here. And then you can see the I and the N, they're actually still connected with material. And I don't want that. I'm not so worried about down here on the word thank you. This is kind of more of a cursive script looking writing, so if these letters are a little connected, I'm not so concerned about that. But I don't want that look up here. So how do we fix that? We're going to work on the words no soliciting, so we want to come up here and make sure for our layers we're set on the layers that those words are on, which is big words. I know, real original, right? So now we're on the correct layer. One way you could separate these, if these were all like individually done, you did the S, you did the O, individually done pieces, and you put them together and then you combine them, you could choose it and you could come over here where it says ungroup, and you could hit ungroup and it would separate them. But that's not what I did. I opened a text box and then I typed in the words no soliciting. So you can't ungroup text in that fashion. So how do you do it? What you do is you choose, and you've chosen something when it's highlighted this really bright kind of pink color. You see it changes to that. So you choose it, then you right click, and this menu pops up. You come down right here where it says convert to curves, and you click that, And now all these lines are all separated. You can see the outside of the O and the inside of the O are two separate curves now. So you can treat each one of these letters as a separate entity. So I'm going to choose both of these, the inside and the outside of the O, and I'm going to combine them or group them together, and now they're one thing. And so I want to create some space here, so I just have to click on this, and then I can use my arrow keys on my keyboard and just click 1, 2, 3. I'm going to click that over 3 times. I'm going to come to the G. I'm going to do it 3 times. That'll keep the spacing the same here. Do what you do over here, you do the same thing over here, and it'll keep that spacing even. Now if I zoomed in and out, it's going to change how far these move when you use your arrow keys. So once you start this operation, try not to zoom in and out. Now I'm going to click on the G. I'm going to bring this over. That was fine, so I'm going to bring it over 3. I want the little space here. So the N move 3. I'm going to click on the I and move it 1. The O, I wanted space in between here. I don't need much. I move this over 3. I'm going to move this back 2. That should give me just enough space to get the bit in between there. I'll move this over. I'll move this over. I'll move this over. And I want a little more space in between the I and the T right here. So I'll move that over. So we moved our letters around. You want to start from the left and go up. Choose everything. I like to just group it back together. Now it's all one thing. So if I move one thing, it's all going to move together. And we're going to rerun this toolpath. So we come up here. We turn off our outside border. We turn off our holes. We just want to do a pocketing operation for everything that's inside this oval here. So we choose all of that, and we come over here to pocket, and our settings are already set because they were set for the original toolpath I did, so you don't have to change anything. I'm going a depth of 0.2 using a 1/8 end mill, and I will show you I'm running this at 150 inches a minute. I'm going to change the plunge to 40. It's not really going to change much, but I'm going to do it. Okay, and we'll calculate that. And then we want to see what that's going to look like. So, whatever toolpath you have highlighted, if I click on Pocket 1, that's the one we just created. Preview Visible Toolpath. And there you go. We have space in between our S and our O. We have space in between our I and our G. We have good spacing between all these letters. And I think that'll work. So I would save that as my new pocketing toolpath and run with it. And I think that would work for us. So there you go. If you ever need to manipulate one letter or something in a word that you typed, just remember, highlight it, right click it. You'll come down here to convert to curves. It'll be an option at that point. You already did it, so that's why it's not an option, but you could do it here. So let's do so thank you, right click, convert to curves, and now you can manipulate this any way you want. I could choose this K and hit N and go into node mode, and you could totally manipulate this how you want. So you want to make your K look like that instead. Do that, come over to your snipping tool, cut that off, cut that off, cut that off. And you just completely change the look of your K there. So those are the kinds of things you can do. You can really customize stuff if you want with this convert to curves function. So there you go. I hope this helps. I hope it's a new tool in your toolbox and it's something useful to you in the future. Thanks for watching.